Hey there, it's Jeannie Blaha with Take a Walk with Your Angels and JoyFlames.com. I've been being nudged strongly to speak to this subject, which is the kids in spirit are asking that I address this matter regarding suicide, drugs, and school shootings, and then anything pertaining to this. So the first thing they'd really want us to know is that because a scene looks like a suicide, to not assume that it was, in the sense that they've been giving me some really direct information regarding when they are brought into these circles of the drug rings, that they are not being allowed to leave when they don't want any part of it anymore. So something that they've been telling me is across the U.S. that kids are being drawn into these circles younger and younger, starting at 12, even 11, 10 years old, if they haven't grown up in it. I'm just speaking to that on their behalf right now. And that they are saying that when they are trying to get out, when they're deciding that it's just not for them, their passings are made to look like suicides, primarily hanging. Hanging is a big thing right now. And so what they are wanting their parents to go with on this is that if you happen to know somebody who's had an experience and your gut says something is up with this, I do not feel like my child or my kin's child actually did take their life out of form. And I feel like I have to follow up on this a little bit further. One thing they mentioned about this is that even if you have a very strong gut feeling that your child did not take their life out of form, his or her, that it's okay to be resolved in it with that. You don't have to go and prove it in order for that connection with them in the quantum to be solid and full of love. So in other words, if you are feeling super overwhelmed by it and thinking, what do I do about this at this point though? You don't have to do anything about it on the earth plane level as far as resolving it on their behalf or doing right by their legacy here. It is enough for them to know and have you know that your connection with them is solidly with that love, and that there doesn't need to be all that shame and guilt that gets wrapped around it so much. There's so much shame and guilt regarding taking one's life out of form, and this alleviates that as far as on their perspective, from back to their parents, that their parents don't have to be walking around in all of that blame and shame and guilt. And along those lines, and this has to do with the school shootings as well, I asked them, what would you suggest for those here, parents, teachers, guardians, mentors, everyone, what would you suggest is the solution to all of this? What's going on with all of this? And they said the number one reason that all of this is happening so predominantly right now is that they grew up in households where their parents didn't feel equipped to walk through life challenges, so they experienced a lot of their parents checking out, numbing out, or standing in denial, and this was being done through their own medications, their own use of drugs themselves, alcohol, etc., any which fashion which took them sort of out of the present moment, and then the children didn't get to see how do you walk through life challenges, how do you deal with a job loss, how do you deal with a love breakup, how do you deal with somebody going through a dis-ease, how do we walk through that, how do we face these challenges and keep walking through them rather than checking out, denying that these things are even happening, sitting in front of screens on a regular basis. So their solution, they said, was for parents, guardians, teachers, etc., to be as present as possible with their kids, with any kids they encounter, being very present. So these children can see, oh, I get it. I get how they are facing their own life challenges and that I can get through mine, rather than brought up in with, it's a very much of a neurolinguistic or a brain setting, a mindset of, I guess the answer is to check out. I guess I can't really do anything about this, so I'll just go use drugs. I'll get on some alcohol. I'll whatever I need to do to take myself out of it so I don't have to deal with it. And so that was their suggestion. They're saying this would be very empowering for the whole entire planet, is if we all decided we're just going to be more present and attending to whatever challenges that we face, and then showing that, guiding through our own experiences, guiding through our own examples. So blessings to all of you. And I need to add this because they have been mentioning this as well, is they would like a takeaway from this video, if you happen to come across it and you're watching this, that please, please, please do not blame yourself in any facet of this. Whether if a child of yours has gone down that road, did get involved with drugs or drug circle, or didn't, either way, either did take their life out of form or didn't, whether they're just not here, right, in your lives. They would rather that their parents not move on with all that blame and shame and guilt and feeling like I could have done something, what if I'd just done something else, and instead quantum leap to your love that you feel for them, the memories that you have, all of that awe and wonder that you've had with your children, and jump back into that with them, because that not only helps heal you, they say, but it also helps their journey so much, because then they can move on as well, because they're going to hang in there with you wherever you are traveling. So if you are sitting in a lot of anger or frustration, or depression, anxiety, panic, a lot of these states that are super slow frequencies, then they're going to be right there with you to tend to you, and it also is a slow frequency for them then in the quantum, and they will, it's, how are they saying it right now? They're saying that if you allow yourself to let go of all that shame and blame and guilt and what ifs, that it will only catapult their own journey with you. And so they're really encouraging those here to let go to that. All right? Take care. Lots of love. Sending you lots of big hugs for this one. This is a challenging thing, definitely nationwide, and very predominant. I'm sure that those of you who are getting visited by kids in spirit, you're probably hearing a lot of similar things here. So we just have to get back into our present, be present with each other, let kids see how we do walk through our challenges. Let them know this is tough, or this is, yeah, I'm not happy with this, or this makes me mad, or whatever it is, and allowing them to see, what do you do about that? Rather than, I'm going to go pop a pill, I'm going to go drink a bunch of booze, I'm going to go smoke some pot and forget about it, because then they say all they learn from that is that avoidance. Just avoid it, and that you'll be saved somewhere else. You'll go, and what they call it is they sought out a family circle event with these drug connections, and they were provided that feeling at the beginning of having siblings, having bros, they say, having people that are looking out for them and telling them that they really care for them. And then when they realized, didn't quite end up that way, and it's probably not around the connection of a deep soul connection, then they opted out and they weren't allowed to leave. So they would like for others to be able to feel like they don't even have to go down that road. So that's what they're encouraging all parents to do, and mentors and teachers. Provide that avenue. Look to where we can really get away from the screens, put down the phones, put down all the TV equipment, all that technology, and being together, talking, communicating, uniting. And then they said the main thing is for them is if they'd just been able to get out even in nature more, to be away from all the distraction, where nothing is really getting resolved. There's not really solutions happening necessarily. Whereas going out in nature, some of their most fondest memories was when they hung out with their parents here in form, fishing, going to the cabin, taking walks, just a simple walk. They derive so much joy in that and peace, and they feel like they have their parents' attention and that they matter, that they're here for a purpose. All right, lots of love, big hugs out of Colorado. With Jeannie Blaha. Take a walk with your angels and joyflames.com.